Welcome back. We're still talking Ekiti politics, and you alluded to the report we played, which summarized part of what you're saying about varying. They also talked about the people wanting something to put in their pockets. What did they vote for in this case? You talked about personality, and then it's one thing to have that personality, then another for the issues. What was the issue about for you? Was it just the personality or about governance?
Both. I mean, the election also was a reaction to the governance of the incumbent in the past 3.5 years. To be fair to the governor, it is not only performance, that determines popularity in election or acceptance. You have to take that into consideration. There could be subjective reasons. He might have offended a town, by...
What was the specific case in this particular election, apart from performance?
I told you the popularity of his opponent and what they remembered of his own stewardship when he was there. I also think that there was an element of sympathy. The way he left office, it was under very controversial circumstances.
And all of that did not come to play when he was going to run for Senate?
No. You see, governorship, it's...
You mentioned something.
The category, those two categories are not...
You said the executive arm of government. Why do you say the two categories? Because a lot of governors, we find a lot of ex-governors now in the Senate.
Let me tell...
But you also mentioned something about executive support. What did the role... he was in the Labour Party. Right now, he's back in the PDP. He's won on the platform of the PDP. What role did the support he got from the PDP at the national level? Because we also saw them celebrating on television. This was also something that they've taken, credit for. What role did that have to play in his victory in this particular elections?
The role of the federal government. I expect that they will have supported him with logistics, with publicity, funds to run the campaign.
Which some people believe is more vital than his popularity, because
no, not at all.
His popularity,
how will it be more vital?
Just a moment, sir. If it was going by his popularity alone, he wouldn't have won the senatorial election. He should have won the senatorial election.
Listen. You kept on referring. He ran on the platform of a party in the Labour was practically non-existent in Ekiti when he ran on his platform as a senatorial candidate. What do you mean Ondo State?
Labour was practically non-existent.
Not at all.
In Ondo State
not at all. It was I have a very particular. I know a lot about what happened in Ondo State. This is not the time for it. People who left from the Mimiko was in PDP. Again, he was the most popular politician in Ondo State at that time. When he was frustrated out of the PDP, he went to take over the shell of a party. Actually, in reality, he ran as an independent candidate. When he was leaving PDP, almost half, definitely more than half of the party left with him. So it's not, you don't compare these two situations.
But the same thing did not happen in Ekiti State.
No, he was going for governorship. The governor was in office from another party when he was contesting. And in the Ekiti State, I'm telling you, what the Labour platform on which he ran was practically non-existent. And I was trying to mention an important factor before you caught him. And that is that, there's, I think, an element of sympathy was also there, that he was not treated fairly by the circumstances of his removal in 2006. And this Labour thing that you are talking about, see, and he was in the media anyway, he actually helped the current governor to win in a rerun election, right? And one of the agreements he had with them was that they were going to concede to him the senatorial seat. And, so, but they didn't. I mean, that part, of course, so that was what drove him to go and to the Labour Party platform. And as I said, you cannot compare the Labour Party platform on which he ran as a senatorial candidate with the platform of the PDP.
So in this case,
PDP,
the party platform helped his popularity as well.
Yeah, well, of course, yes. I mean, that's you have to take that. I mean, even if it's not the candidate of PDP, whoever emerges the candidate will probably have won, but I don't think in an emphatic manner.
Very quickly, I wanted to, sorry, Mark, very quickly, tell us your campaign strategy, because we saw a whole lot happen before that particular election. What was it that you did in Ekiti State, PDP Ekiti, that you haven't actually done in other states for this election?
Which other states?
There's been elections in Edo, there's been elections in Ondo.
Look, then you are just making me repeating myself. The most important factor in my own estimation is the candidate.
No,
so in terms of campaign
strategy, yes. So,
campaign? It was popular. I mean, look, I don't know what you mean by campaign. Campaigning, yeah, that look, I was there before, so you could judge me on what I did. The man who is, the governor who is there, I could do better than him. And more importantly, he had a connection with the people, with the people who are going to vote. You see, there's something that we call charisma. It's not substantial. It's not something you can hold like this. I think he's a very charismatic politician. If he stops in any place in Ekiti State, you will see the crowd of people. They identify with him.
Just a moment.
So it's not a question of strategy or whatever.
Going forward, I mean, we've not seen, I'm looking at the picture on the front page of The Guardian. That is the governor-elect, an incumbent governor who's trounced in an election. And they've agreed to work together. They're moving forward. It's unprecedented almost, especially in Ekiti State. How do you see this kind of relationship working, moving forward? And what does it portend for the politics of the state?
Well, of course, I mean, it's another positive addition to what already was a very positive situation. I think one of the reasons, without taking anything from the act of gallantry, it also had to do with the degree of the victory. The PDP candidate won in all the local governments. I mean, that has never happened. There is actually, the unique thing about this election is that it doesn't leave room for any doubt as to what happened. It's very emphatic, right? And so it is reasonable for an average person. I mean, there was look, you see Nigerian elections being, you find many situations. And
so what you're saying, are you saying then that the incumbent governor did not have a choice in terms of, he
had the choice,
conceding defeat and saying
no. You remember what I said. I'm not taking anything away from what he had done. It was postman-like, gallant, And I said that it was another positive added to an already positive situation.
Do you see other politicians taking cue either from the PDP, the Labour Party, for future elections? When they lose out in elections, they say, I'm not going to go to the tribunal. I congratulate the winner. Let's move on.
Yeah, the culture of politics in Nigeria, that is the point I was making, right? Many elections do not come out the way this one did, giving a clear-cut map between the loser and the victory. The margin is so wide. You aren't going to get many elections like that. Many elections, I presume, will be closely contested. This is where controversy comes in, right? Maybe two local governments could make a difference, So these are the things you want to take into. But the another thing I want to say, of course, I think there's a momentum in the Southwest and in the country that is working in favor. The PDP especially should feel vindicated, because, you know, PDP has won many elections, but because of its own propaganda deficit, they made Nigerians believe that any election that PDP wins must be a rigged election. The one that is credible is the one that it is declared a loser. So you see, you are going to have that point should be made.
Well, you know, it's politics, so, I mean, we're not politicians. You are. I mean, I understand politicians never say never. They're always optimistic. I have to thank you for coming on this morning. Mr. Akin Osuntokun is a member of the People's Democratic Party in Ekiti. We'll be back in just a moment. Join us again.